What's up, Erik?
Questions?
I feel like the defense is playing better than maybe some of the season stats show. I mean, how do you feel? I know you're improving every week, but how do you look at kind of just your big picture of where you guys are? I'm sure you're going to never be perfect, but I mean, you lead the nation in sacks. You're obviously doing a lot of good things. But
yeah, I think stats, you can kind of make them how you want them. I think you always have to do what it takes to win the game. You know, and we knew kind of going in that game, you know, John Mateer is a heck of a football player. We had to limit him. Obviously did not do a good job of limiting him on the first drive, but we knew we had to take there's things you have to take away, and when you take away things, you got to give up things. You're going to lead to some other stats that are probably not as good. So I think that, you know, so far we have not been perfect. We have a long way to go. We have a lot of things to improve on, but we've done a good job of taking away what we need to in order to help the team win football games. I think Georgia Southern, we had some errors on defense that we would like to take back. We'd like to have those again. Can't do it. Got to move on. But I think they did a good job of the game plan. The frustrating thing, I think, for our staff was that last drive of the game didn't finish the game how we wanted to. And once again, statistically, that leads to things that you don't want. Just like at the end of the Portland State game, you know, you give up a third down and their biggest run play of the game on a victory where, quote unquote, you won the situation, doesn't look very good in the stat book. But those things were all out there. Those are all things we got to improve on. Like I said, the last drive, love to have that one back, love to finish the football game better. We got to do a better job at the end of the game.
After Mateer breaks off that 52-yard run, do you guys make any adjustments, or was it just a matter of focusing in on containing him?
No, I think it was just an execution. They came out of the huddle on the sideline, and I wish I would have had that call back, if you want to know the truth. They came out in a different personnel than they've shown, and it was hard to see who they were coming out. I should have saw it better, but I'd like to have that call back. I don't think I put the kids in the best situation possible on that call. We didn't execute it the way we should have, but I would like to have that call back.
You've talked about what you didn't like, but it felt like this past weekend was the first game where we've ranked, you know, that was a solid defensive performance kind of across the board. What did you like this past weekend?
What did I like? I'm glad that was the first time you thought we played good. I did like that we sacked quarterback a lot. You know, we got to the quarterback, but what we talked about all week, right? We have to keep him from running the football, which we did. Other than the first play that we just discussed, we got some hits on the quarterback. I thought we did a good job of keeping things in front of us for the most part. He can throw the ball a long ways, like he can throw a deep ball. And so we did a good job keeping things in front of us. We had a deep ball that we gave up, but for the most part, the DBs did a really good job all football game. And I thought we did a good job pressuring, confusing them with our looks. And I thought the kids executed those third downs, those second and long calls really well. And I thought that they played really, really hard. It wasn't perfect. We had some missed tackles. We had some leverage issues, but they played really, really hard. And I was proud to watch their effort on film.
question, but I mean, is there ever correlation with sacks and passing yards given up? And you guys lead the nation in sacks, you know, and you're getting a lot of pressure, but you're 109th in pass defense. Is that because you're more one-on-ones because you're getting pressure? Is it typically not that big of a gap, or what do you see with the sacks and the passing yards?
No, you know, if you to look at it all right now, there has been a few times where there's been some isolated defensive backs on some receivers, which also, you know, it's always a 50-50 proposition, and you'd like to win more than you lose. But I think really right now in the pass game, the thing that we need to do better from a defensive backfield standpoint is just when we get a 5-yard pass, those got to be catch tackles, and some of those are breaking into bigger, more explosive passes because we're not getting that receiver on the ground right away. And we have really good defensive backs, and they're going to work hard on that this week. But I think just when we get the opportunity to make those a 5-yard catch tackle, those got to be catch tackles, and they can't be turned into 13, 14-yard gains.
Going back to January, Spencer said that he talked with Rodney Robinson about, you know, maybe we'll call it a new vision for what he does for you guys. Where did you find that he can make an impact? Like, where did you find his value to what he's doing right now?
Yeah, Rodney, I mean, he has a he has a big skill set, a very wide skill set of things he can do. Just as we went through spring, I think having him closer to the football, having him getting a little more in the action, he seemed to make a lot of plays. He did a nice job in spring and fall setting the edge. He did a nice job blitzing. He's done a nice job in the underneath coverage stuff. So I think he's embraced kind of what he's asked to do in the defense right now, and he's done a really good job. And I think the other thing with Rod is his ability to, knock on wood, hasn't happened yet, but his ability to play a lot of different spots in the back end. He understands those positions. He understands the scheme. So to have that versatility and never have to worry about, well, if somebody goes down, what are we going to do? We know we always got Rod that can play multiple positions, and he can help shore that thing up.
How big was that sack? It seemed like you guys were on the field forever. And, over 8 minutes, and he ends that drive with a sack to knock him out of field goal range.
I mean, it's huge. It's huge to anytime you can take points off the boards, anytime that you can knock them out of field goal range. I mean, that's, I don't know I can't remember if we scored or not on the next drive, but that's somewhere from a 3 to a 10-point swing. So anytime you can take points off the board is a huge play in the football game.
Kind of been the odd man out in that starting lineup, but like you just said, he can play in just about any position. What kind of a team guy does it take to, take that when you have that kind of disappointment, but say, okay, yeah, I'll do whatever I need?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously, it takes a special player, special team to not be the quote-unquote starter on paper, but I think I see things much differently than you guys do. I hope the kids see it the same way than the media or Twitter or the card that goes out. Like Rodney Robinson and Shea Oladipo are both starters, right? Marco and Drew are both starters. Like we're playing some different packages where the depth at those positions sometimes isn't always exactly what you want in college football. So how do you protect those guys? You're rolling them in and out. But to me, those guys are starters. And I know they don't go on the card and they don't walk out there first for the first play of the game, or they don't get their thing on the scoreboard. But to me, they're starters. Like, I don't care who's in the game. I don't tell coaches, hey, make sure this guy's in the game. It's just we're rotating those guys through, and they're playing the same amount of reps. So to me, we have way more than 11 starters, if that makes sense to you guys.
Are you playing more dime this year because of the personnel, or is more of the situation just dictating?
Yeah, I think it's always, about your personnel. How can you maintain depth with your personnel? And then we always got to look at who we're playing. And it might look different if you're playing a team that's a big 2 tight ends in the game and running the football. It might look way different. But so far this year, the teams we've played have been a lot of 11 personnel and a lot of spread formations, a lot of trying to get you in space.
How much does Alexander Tubner allow you guys to play that much dime too, and his ability to come down the box and almost be a linebacker? It seems like for a lot for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, Tubes allows you to do a ton. And last year, at the end of the year, Ty Benefield was playing that position, and he allowed us to do a ton. And it's not necessarily the skill set with those guys, because I think there's a lot of safeties in today's football game that have that skill set. With Tubes, it's the mental process. Like, if we go to nickel, he can play boundary safety. If we go to dime, he can play dime. If we go to other personnel packages on third down, he can do whatever we ask him to do. He can blitz like a linebacker. He understands the drops, not only the drops, but the drops from the line of scrimmage where he has to end up. So the mental piece from him and helping other guys get lined up is the huge part for us.
Ahmed's had a lot of big games here, but in terms of like where that one last Saturday ranks, where does it rank for you?
For Ahmed, yeah, I think probably his best game that I've been here. I'd have to go back and check, but probably his best game since I've been here as a Bronco. And I don't know the games where I wasn't here, but he played really hard, and he was very productive, and he made a big impact on that football game.
I mean, nothing really ever surprises you with him, but we knew this year that coming in, people were going to know who 91 was, and it seems like he's definitely starting to figure it out. And he didn't have a sack in the first game. He's found a way to get home in each of the last 3 games, though. So how has he kind of started to figure it out, I guess?
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's him figuring it out. I think he's probably got it figured out. I thought Georgia Southern, those guys did a good job of getting the ball out quickly. And then, Portland State, he had the opportunity for multiple sacks, and we didn't get the guy on the ground, and he's got that corrected. So Ahmed's a special kid, man. He understands what he didn't do well the previous week. He understands what he did do well, and he works to correct the things. Like, he's not worried, that worked, so I'm going to continue to do that. He wants to correct the things that he didn't do well, so he can even out that game. And he does a great job week to week of working, and he just works.
What's Utah State's best strengths offensively?
Yeah, they have a really good running back. They have a slot receiver, number 23, and an edge receiver, number 1, that are dangerous players, and they do a good job formationally of stretching the defense, both vertically and horizontally. Horizontally by formation, vertically with some of the routes. So to get those playmakers the ball in space is always a challenge for you too. And they've had a couple different quarterbacks come in the game. One can run a little better, and one's got a big arm. So we got a challenge, depending on which quarterback's in the game and formationally what they want to do to us. They've also shown that week to week they're going to have a different plan to run the football. So it's not consistently like you see from some teams that here's the run game. We just got to figure out formations and motions, but here's the run game. These guys are kind of a run of the week. So it's going to take us, we're going to have to play rules football. We're going to have great eye control, and we're going to have to figure out what that run plan of the week is real early in the football game.
Spencer's been pretty consistent, obviously, 1 week at a time, not looking ahead, whatever. But now that you guys are in conference play and to get to some of your, ultimate goals, you got to win the conference. I mean, is it turned up at all this week, or just getting back into conference play and kind of taking that next start to the next step in your journey? What's that like around here?
Yeah, I think every week should be the same, right? If you're trying to reach your ultimate goal, I know it's cliche, but it's a nameless, faceless opponent, and if you want to know the truth, we haven't done anything in the Mountain West yet. We have 0 wins. So we're the same as everybody else. We got to win our first Mountain West game before we can even talk about anything else. So it's about Utah State, but more importantly, it's about Boise State right now. And we need to get things fixed on defense, and we need to move forward with the progression of the package. And we just need to have a great week of practice so we can go out and operate on Saturday afternoon.
John Mateer on 4th and 1 probably has a pretty good batting average. Can you take us through the eyes of Marco Notriani on that play and what he was able to do?
Yeah, so, I want to say this first off. Our assistant coaches, okay, they had a sneak on 4th and 1, okay, which we were not prepared for. Error on me, okay. After that play, we said they're going to come back to that because that didn't look very good. Okay, our assistant coaches, I got the information down to them. They got that thing drawn up in a hurry. They got that all worked out. They got it lined up perfectly. And Coach Collins and Coach Stockton told Marco exactly how to play that thing. So I want to make sure that everybody understands those assistant coaches did an unbelievable job. And then the kids went out and operated that thing like we practiced it all week, and we didn't. So that was an awesome job by them.
You mentioned needing to get stuff fixed, but I mean, is that easier when you win? I mean, is it easier when you still win? You still have the good feeling, but it's easier to show guys maybe the clips and plays that didn't go well.
Yeah, it's always easier to fix things when you're laughing and smiling than when you're crying, and it's easier to probably bring the hammer down on the guys a little bit when they're feeling good about themselves than when they're licking their wounds. So always prefer to fix things after a win than after a loss, but sometimes you don't get that luxury.
You're the leader of this defense, right? So as the coordinator, to see it connect on such a pivotal play in the game, going back to that 4th and 1, like, what does that do for you? I would assume it's pretty encouraging.
It's really encouraging. Just the way that room operates up there, that staff room. Our assistant coaches are unbelievable. I'm talking about assistant coaches, GAs, consultants. Those guys, they have an area of the game plan that they break down and become experts on. Then they bring it to me, and we watch it as a staff. We work that game plan together. Ultimately, in football, that plan is put together by us, not me. And then when things go right out there, we put those kids in the situation where we think they can become successful, and then they execute. So anything that goes right out there is those kids, right? They are the magic. There's no magic calls. They execute the call that we called, and when things went wrong out there, that was probably a bad call by me or something I didn't have them prepared for. But those kids are the magic, and our assistant coaches are as a pivotal part of this thing as it's never just me. So it's an awesome staff and an awesome group of kids.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.